total 100 different questions, interview questions are there. Okay, first, how do you construct an increment statement or the decrement statement? And there are the operators are there. So that is purely a plus plus operator as well as the minus minus operator. Here, plus plus operator is for the increment operation. Plus plus indicates the a plus one. Simply, for example, say x plus plus indicates that x equal to x plus 1, x equal to x plus 1. Similarly, x minus minus, it indicates a decrement operator, x equal to x minus 1. It is the one thing for the increment statement, increment operation and decrement operation. Another way is the simply unary operator, that is by using the a plus operator or the a minus operator, x equal to x plus 1. It's simply as you say x equal to x plus 1, that is x plus plus indicates. Simply you can have a unary operator, single operator, x equal to x plus 1. Similar operation is performed by the x plus plus operator. It's called the increment and decrement operation. It is how do you construct an increment statement and decrement statement? X plus plus and x is a variable. X is a variable. X plus plus is an increment operator. X minus minus is a decrement operator. Here, what is an equivalent of the code of the following statement in while loop format? The same statement here. This statement has to form using the while statement. Here we have the looping statement. It is called the iterative statement. Here in this loop, for loop, there are the three parts are there. First part is called the initialization. A equal to 1, it is called the initialization. A is less than or equal to 100, it is called the conditional part. And last one is called the A plus plus, it is called the increment or the decrement. This part is called the expression part. Either you can have an increment, decrement, any mathematical expression also can be written here. Total three parts are there. Here, general syntax for the for statement is first is called the initialization part. Second is called the conditional part. Third is called the expression part. This expression, generally expression part will use the either increment or the decrement operation. To perform these things by using the, it is purely a equal to, it is square of the number. It is simply operation is a square of the number from 1 to 100. Here A is less than or equal to 100 means it performs from the 1 to 100. The for operation, for loop starts with an 1, A equal to 1. Then it tests for the condition. Then test for the condition. If condition is 1 is less than or equal to 100, condition satisfied, then go for the printing A into A, 1 into 1, that is 1 square, 2 square, like that. It is the square of the operation till you get an A equal to 100, condition is satisfied. If A incremented by the 1 again, that is 1 not 1, the condition is false. Condition false, exit from the print statement. This same operation you need to construct, you need to be equivalent code for the following statement by using the while. While is here first part, it is a initialization part, it executes only one time. In the for loop, initialization part will perform only a single time. It initializes the if you have any more than one initialization need to be performed. For example, A equal to 1 and comma B equal to 2. You can use the two different initialization part in the initialization part itself. Okay, here the same thing you did that. First initialize A equal to 1, then we go for the while. While is the condition. If condition satisfied, go inside the print statement, and this print statement, it prints the operation square of the number. Then after the printing operation, increment that. Here the same thing, for loop low. Here first initialization, that test the condition, then go for the printing operation, then come back to the increment operation. The operation performed here for loop is first initialization only one time, then go for the testing condition. Testing condition is A is less than 1 is less than 100. less than or equal to 100, condition satisfied. If the condition satisfied, print the operation. Then go for the increment operation. The same thing is written by using the while loop, while condition. If the condition satisfied, go for the printing. Then in this, there are two statements are there. The condition satisfied, there are two statements need to be performed. One is for the print operation, then followed by the increment operation. This is called the entry test condition. While there are the three different iterative statements are there. One is called the for loop, second is called the do while and while loop. What is the difference between the while loop and do while loop? While loop, it tests the condition, then perform the operation. In the do, first you perform the operation, then test the condition. It is exit test. It is called the entry test. While loop is called the entry condition test. While loop is called the entry test condition, and do while is exit. When we are exiting from the loop, we are testing the condition. The basic difference between the do while and while loop. This is about the for loop and while and do while. Next, what is a stack? What is the basic importance in the data structure? Stack. Stack is one of the form of the data structure. Data is stored in a stack using the first in last out. Data is whatever when we push the data onto the stack, it will be goes on increasing, grows on in the above that we'll keep the data. First data, then on the above, second data, third data. First will exit from the last entry only. Entry, whatever the entry, that is the last out. That is first in, last out approach. Stack performs, that is last in, first out, or the first in, last out. At any particular instant, only one on the only top of the stack is accessible, which means that in order to retrieve the data that is stored inside the stack, those who are the upper part should be extracted first. That is when we keep on this, when we keep on the data, first data will be retrieved first one. That is last in data is the first out. Last in data is the first out. Storing data in the stack is also refers to the push. That is sending data onto the stack is by using the push operation. Extracting, retrieving the data from the stack is called the pop. There are the two operations. One is called the push the data onto the stack. Second is called the pop the data from the stack. They are the stack. Stack performs on the first in, last out, or the last in, first out. That's the same thing on the stack. It is in the data structure. We're going to use this stack. There are two things are there. One is called the queue. Queue is the on the data itself. Queue is the on the data. Queue is the first in, first out. Stack is the last in, first out. Queue is the first in, first out fashion. Now, what is in a variable initialization? Why is it is important? When we use a variable, first it has to be initialized. First you have to declare the variable, then you can initialize the variable. First, there are the two terms are there. One is called the initialization. Before initializing the variable, first you have to declare a variable. After declaring a variable, you can go for initializing a variable. This is referred to the process wherein the variable is assigned a initial value before it is to be used in the program. Initialization is the assigning a value, that is a data information has been assigned to a particular variable. Without initializing, a variable would have an unknown value which can be lead to unpredicted output when you use in the computation or the other operation. Without initializing a variable, based on the different variable assignments, by default it is in the garbage value, it is initialized with a 0. There are different ways of the initialization. That is when we declare a variable, it takes in that fashion. Okay, here before going to use of a particular variable, you should initialize in a variable. The difference between the source code and object code. When you write a program, .c extension with a .c, it is called the source code. Okay, once you have to convert that, the source code has to be converted into the object code. The file extension is .obj. a source code or code that we written by the programmer. It is made up of the command lines and English like keywords that are supposed to be instruct the computer what to do. However, computer would not able to understand the source code. It requires the only binary format. Therefore, source code are compiled using a compiler. Compiler, it converts the from the source code to the object code. Compiler, it translates from the source code to the object code. Object code is .obj extension. There are the three different files are there. When you go for in the first program is saved within a .c extension, and it has converted from the .c extension to the .obj, that is object file. From the object file, I have to create one more is called the executable file, that is .exe. .exe is the executable file. All the object files are linked and it generates the executable file. .exe. .exe is also a object file only. It combines, it links the all the different object files and generates a .exe. That .exe is an executable file. That finally we have to execute the code by using the .exe file. Now, what is the use of the \0 character? This is the \0 is referred to be the terminating null character and is used primarily to show the end of the string. Generally, when we declare an array of strings, at that time to know the system what is an end point of that string. End point of that string is within a \0. That is a terminator of a string. String is terminated within a \0, a null character, null value. \0 is a null value. What is the difference between the equal to symbol and double equal to symbol? Here, equal to is the assignment operator. Equal to assignment operator. Double equal to is the conditional operator. One is called the assignment operator. It assigns from the right to left. It assigns from right to left. That is assignment. The symbol. The equal is for the assignment operator, mathematical operation. Equal symbol. Equal is the assignment operator, assigning a value to the given variable. Another, on the other hand, double equal to symbol is equal to or equivalent to, or it can be a relational operator, testing a condition of the two operands. Is they are equal or not. At that time, symbol called double equal. Single equal to is assignment operator. Double equal to
plastic glass మరి నువ్వు తాగేకి వచ్చాను దానికి స్టీల్ గ్లాస్ కావాలా లంజోడక వీడు మొత్తం కిందనే పోసుడు ఈ దగ్గురే అక్కడిక్కడ పోసుకుంటది ఏడవడ్డదంట లంచోడు ఆ సైడ్ కత్తాలం కనబడుతుంది ఏడవడ్డది తినో నాకు చాయ్ ఉంది ఇట్లా.
Here, what is a modulus symbol? That is a percentage. There is a difference between the division and modulus. Modulus symbol is used for to get a reminder. Modulus symbol is used to get a reminder. Okay, the divide is for the floor division. Okay, it is for the modulus operator output the remainder of the division. It makes use of the percentage. The symbol is used for the modulus is percentage. For example, a 10 modulus of 3. That is a remainder is 10 divided by 3. Remainder is 1. Means that which you divide 10 by 3, the remainder is 1. To get a reminder by using the symbol called the modulus. Modulus is an important thing. Modulus is used to get a reminder. Okay, what is a nested loop? A loop within for one more loop. That is a nested loop. Loop within a loop. Okay, nested loop is a loop that runs within another loop. Okay, we'll use a loop within a one more loop that is nothing but the nested loop. To put it in another sense, you have an inner loop that is inside an outer loop. There are two loops. The one is called the outer loop, second is called the inner loop. But first it performs the inner loop. If the inner loop is completed, then go for the outer loop. In this sense, the inner loop is performed a number of times as is specified by the outer loop. For each turn on the outer loop, the inner loop is first performed. First it performs the inner loop. Once inner loop is completed, then go for the increment or the decrement operation of the outer loop. Once then after that, test for the condition. If the condition is satisfied, go inside the inner loop and perform the number of operation of the inner loop, then go for the outer loop. Okay, it is the nested loop. The nested loop purely will going to use in the for loop only. Now, what is the which of the following operator is incorrect and why? This is called the greater than or equal, less than equal. This symbol, that is greater than and less than symbol. There is no operator, such operator in C language. This is a double equal to, that is conditional operator. These are the relational operators, that is less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. This operator is, there is no meaning for this, that is greater than or less than. Okay, is incorrect, which is why this operator is correctly interpreted as not equal to. In writing a conditional statement, it is not a proper operator to be used in C programming. Instead of that, you can use this operation, that is not equal to, must be used to indicate not equal condition. It is also, you can use this as a not equal to operator, but it's not a proper way to use in the C program. Okay, it is the not equal to. Compare and contrast the compiler and interpreter. Where we'll use a compiler and where we use an interpreter. Okay, in C programming, we'll use a compiler, and in Python we'll use an interpreter. Okay, what is the basic difference between a compiler and interpreter? Compiler interpreter often deals with how a program codes are executed, execution process, conversion process. Okay, interpreter execute program code one line at a time, single line, execute single line, and if you get an error, stops it there itself only. While compiler takes the program as a whole and convert it into the object code before executing it. Compiler translate entire code, entire source code into the object code. But interpreter will not going to translate into the object code directly. It executes the line by line only. Interpreter. The key difference here is that in the case of interpreter, program may be encounter a syntax error in the middle of the execution, and while stop from there itself. On the other hand, compiler checks the syntax of the entire program and will only proceed to execute when no syntax error are found. If you get any error in the program, you have to correct syntax. There are three different types of errors you can encounter. One is called the syntax error, second is called the logical error, third is called the runtime error. Total 3 errors you can expect in any programming language. One is called the syntax error. It is grammatically mistake. Predefined syntax are there. We have to follow in that predefined syntax format. English grammatically. If you follow the grammatically programming grammatically, then it gives a proper output. It may give a proper output, may not give a proper output. There you will come to the things called one is called the logical error, second is called the runtime error. Now I will explain in detail that things. Okay, there are 3 types of errors you can encounter. How do you declare a variable that holds a string value? String is a set of characters. Okay, by using the char only. Char is a keyword to use to declare values to the variable. A char keyword can be holds only hold one character value at a time. Char is a data type. Four different data types are there. One is for the integer data type, character data type, float, and these are the three basic data types you can find. In that, to declare a string, to declare a single character using a char, we need a multiple character. String is the multiple characters only. For that, you have to use an array. You have to use for the using the array. By creating an array of characters, you can store string values in it. For example, char my name. My name is in a variable. My name is in a variable. Size of the array within the square bracket, it is 50 characters. The starting index of an array starts with 0. That is total 50 characters. Total, you can have you can declare you can initialize 50 different characters can be loaded with a name, my name. And declare a string variable named my name that can be hold a maximum of 50 characters. We can store up to maximum 50 characters. What will happen if you store less values? It takes that, and the rest will be depending on the type you define. It will take care of that. Okay. Next is can the curly brackets be used to enclose a single line code? Yes. So even can a single line code or the multiple line codes, if you have to use the open and close curly braces. While curly brackets are mainly used to group several lines of a code. If you have more than one line of a code, then go for a grouping of the a grouping of an code. Will use a open and close curly brace. It will still works without error if you use it for a single line also. If you use single line, there is no problem at all. But better for the when we go for a for looping time, at that time you may have a single line or the multi-line code. In a single line code, you no need to open and curly, open bracket and open and close curly brackets. That means that is it can be used, cannot be used, not a problem at all. Some programmer prefer this method as a way of organizing code to be make it look clear, especially in a conditional statement. That is, if condition satisfied, I have to execute a part of the code. If the single line, no need to worry about the open and close curly braces. What are the header files and what are the header files and what are its use in the C programming? Header files are also known as the library files. There are I think you have been used one header standard stdio.h. This is a header file. It is called the standard IO is input output header file. In this standard input output header file, there are different functions are there. There are the different functions. One such function is called the printf, and second is called the scanf. That is print formatting. F is called the not a function. F is not in a function. Print formatting, scan formatting. Okay. So print is for the output information. Scanf is for the read, and printf is for the write. Okay. There are the things called the command is in a header file that contains a definition and a prototype of the commands like. These are commands. Already predefined functions are there. These are the functions predefined are there. These predefined functions are there in the header file. That header file has for the stdio.h header file. They contains two essential things. One is definition and a prototype of the function being used in the program. Simply put, a command that you use in the C programming are actually functions that are defined from within the header file. Each header file contains a set of functions. For example, I have a string functions. To use a string functions, first header file should be string.h. For example, string copy, strcpy, string reverse, string length. There are distinct string functions are there. To get a string functions, we have to use a header file called the string.h. To use any standard input output for header files, we have to include stdio.h header file. Okay. Now, what is the syntax error? Syntax is it is also in a program syntax error associated with a mistake in the use of the programming language. It may be the commands that use misspelled or commands that must be used and typed in lowercase mode but was intended for the with the uppercase characters. A misplaced symbols or lack of a symbolic somewhere within a line of a code can be lead to syntax error. Generally, syntax error is syntax grammatically errors, already predefined things are there. We have to use in that format only. If you not been followed in that format, it use a syntax error simply. Okay, simple. It is associated with a when they have defined a language, they are given a predefined formats to use some keywords, some are there, some formats, some variables. So if you use it is a case sensitive. See, language is a case sensitive. If you use you are declared in a variable as a capital A, but you have been using under the small a. It is indicates that you have not been declared a variable A, capital A. Like that, it will give throws an error. See, it is called the syntax error. What are the variables and what way it is different from constant? You can, when we declare in a variable, you can change the value inside that variable. Once you have been declared as a constant, that constant value cannot be changed. A simple thing. Variables and constant may at first look is similar in the sense that both are identifier made up of one character or one more character letters. Both will hold say a particular values. Value held by the variable can be altered throughout the program. Values stored in the variable can be altered, can be changed, and can be used in most of the operations and computation. Constants are given values at a one time only. Previously, I have defined constant pi equal to 3.14. It is a fixed value. Placed at the beginning of the program, this value is not altered in entire program. For example, you may assign a constant named pi. Pi is a constant followed by the pi is a variable. Pi is a variable name of a constant, and it is assigned value 3.14. You can then use it as a pi in a program instead of having writing entire 3.14 each time you need it. Okay, constant cannot be changed entire program. Initially, you have to define that, and you cannot have any rights to change that inside a program. But variables can be changed. That variable values can be changed. The data inside the variable can be changed. Constant, whatever the data you have defined, it cannot be changed. It is a basic difference between the constant as well as the variable. How do we access a value within an array? Array contains a number of elements depending on the size you give it during the variable declaring. Each element is assigned a number from indexing starts with 0. Array indexing starts with 0 to the number of elements minus 1. For example, a of 50. A is in a variable. A size of the 50 that indicates total 50 elements are there. Starting array index starts with the a of 0, ending with the n minus 1. N minus is 50. 50 minus 1 is 49. 0 to 49, total 50 elements. Now, to assign or the retrieve a value of the particular element refers to the element number. For example, if you have any declaration that's saying that int space score int space score is a variable name of the size 5. Then you have a 5 accessible element named score 0 to the score n minus 1, that is 5. Total 5 elements you are declared. You can access, you can assign a value, you can assign a array values to the 0 to n minus 1. can I use int data type to store a value 32,768? No, because if it is in a 16-bit processor, when you have declared integer under the unsigned, there are two things are there. One is called signed and second is the unsigned. Under the signed mode, it is a value is from the 32,768 to 32,767, total 65,535 only. Okay, 65,535. That means the total value is the max value is positive max value is 32,767. Your value is 68. You cannot have any initialize that data. Below that one, it is possible. Go for the long int. It is in 4 bytes. Like that, you can go. No, int data type is capable of storing a value of up to this one only. Okay, can two or more operators such as a backslash and backslash t can be combined in a single line of a program? You can combine the backslash t is an escape sequence. It is a new line operator. It is tab. Backslash t is for tab. Backslash n for the new line. Okay, yes, we can valid combine operator, especially if you read arise, for example, hello backslash and backslash and backslash. It is for the backslash and invoke. It is moved to the next line only. Okay, you can use a backslash t to get a tab in the same line. You can perform that operation. Why is it that not all header files are declared in every C program? Whatever required header files only you have to declare before using it. Necessary header files only you have to use it. Not all the header files required for any program. For example, by default, we might be use the one header file called stdio.h. Depending on the different header files are meant for the different function, different operations. Probably time is ending. There are a number of slides are there. I will share the all these slides to you. Wide is written nothing. Compound statement, algorithm and flowchart. Advantage of array over the individual variables. Scanf is for the reading data. Random through in a random numbers. To lowercase is by using the C type .h. In that to lowercase